Let's go Jets, baby.
We starting it up?
What is going on, everyone? Hello and welcome back here into another edition of Next Gen Jets, the Jets 2025 NFL Draft. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji's first ever draft as NFL head coaches and general managers is officially in the books. And as you saw, as that intro was playing, Chris is in a very, very good mood with the way the Jets draft is played out, and a lot of interesting undrafted free agent signings we want to get into. First, we were obviously on the stream all of last night for the second and third round. We overplayed a lot of the first round with Armand Membu, but some fresh names to talk about, some interesting moves from Gang Green coming today, Chris, last three rounds of the draft. So super happy to be on here and get into it on another edition of Next Gen Jets on this Saturday evening.
For sure, man. I'm doing well. I love some of the moves we made. I think there's some sleeper moves. I think people are getting too much overreaction, too much bashing of the regime. So I'm excited to clear the air, break down some of the picks, and as you know, some of your favorite UDFA signings.
Oh yeah, the UDFA. I'm not a fan of the draft whatsoever. I'd probably give it a C-, but the UDFA signings I would say are absolutely incredible thus far. So appreciate you all tuning in though. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free and it helps us grow significantly here on the show. Super chats, memberships go a long way as well. Every gifted membership, every $2.99 super chat get you a raffle entry. Support really goes a long way here on the program. So we appreciate you guys. As always, any questions for us? Put those in the chat. You can call into the show with the pinned comment. Why are you doing the thumbs down? Don't encourage people to hit the thumbs down.
I was pointing at the comments and like and subscribe.
Oh, all right. I see you, Chris. I see you, Chris. Anyways, let's start with the first Jets draft selection of the day, which is a super, super interesting one. Came out of left field for me when I'm not happy. I wasn't happy about it first, still not happy about it. That's Arian Smith. Jalen Royals, 8 picks into the fourth round, 12 picks into the fourth round, sitting there on a silver platter. You pass on Jalen Royals and draft someone who was projected as an undrafted free agent. The only reason I know who this guy is because he was the first guy the Jets had in the building for a top 30 visit. I am not happy with Arian Smith whatsoever. Chris, what are your thoughts? And then we'll go into why he's not great.
I love the idea of adding bodies to this receiver room. I thought at this point, after they took corner with the last pick on day 2, that it was obvious they needed to address receiver with their first pick today. So I like the idea of addressing receiver, specifically the player, though. Some things I've heard about him so far is that he's obviously a very speedy guy. I think he ran like a 4.36 40 or something along the lines of that. Yeah, and so he's going to bring some electricity to your receiving room, but obviously, he has some problems with, consistency, catching the ball, some drops issues. But this is my thing with the entire draft, right? I think Glenn and Muji evaluated these players. They turned on the tape, and they drafted these players off of qualities they saw that they could develop into quality starters. So, like, traits that these guys have. So, for example, we obviously know that this receiver has a lot of speed, so they can, develop his, technique a little bit better, but use his speed to their advantage. So I'm excited to see how they use him, and ultimately, that's where I'm at with the pick. I love the idea of picking a receiver with our first pick of ultimately the last day of the draft.
You needed to get a receiver in here one way or another, but you didn't address wide receiver too, and you passed on a lot of different names. You passed on Jalen Royals in the fourth round, and you passed on Jalen Noel in the third round. I would have loved Jalen Noel, and as Azareye'h Thomas, the quarterback from FSU, great player, have nothing against him. You don't take that position. I don't care. When you have that many holes, I know we reacted to it live on the stream. When you have that many holes, you do not take a backup cornerback with the with your third round pick. And I see my camera is a little blurry. It should be fixed here in a second. Let me know if it's not in. Perfect. There it goes. Just a few things to note here on Arian Smith. Chris, you kind of summed it up. He was a Georgia State track star in high school, 4.36 40 at the combine, has burst, has athleticism, but the consistency and the playmaking really declined last year. 14 games at Georgia, 48 receptions for 817 yards and 4 touchdowns, but 10 drops, which Hey, we don't need another guy who can't hold on to the football and has bricks on his hands. We have Alan Lazard to do that for us. Why would you need to roster another guy when you have Alan Lazard to do that? But only 5 missed tackles. This is someone who's supposed to be known for his big playability, his ability on these slip screens, these jet sweeps, kind of like a Jamison Williams, Malachi Corley type guy. I want that guy to be forcing 15, 20 missed tackles per year, not 5, and have 10 drops as well. So I think you really could have gone Jalen Royals, but this is going to be an interesting developmental option. And hey, with his speed, with his agility, with his pass, he could certainly help provide some juice for what I think is, and we can both agree, still a very, very weak Jets wide receiver room. I think we can agree on that 1,000%. The next pick in the 4th round, very, very interesting. The Jets trade up with the Philadelphia Eagles. They give up their 6th round pick this year to trade up 15 spots to Philadelphia Eagles and select Malachi Moore. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He had a solid year this past year. Stingy in coverage, 89.4 coverage grade from PFF. Solid against the run, 75.5 run defense grade. This is someone who's interesting because he's earned some, all second team SEC honors. Someone who's been a 5-year starter, a 5-year contributor at Alabama. An interesting pick for the Jets, the fact, Chris, that they trade up 15 spots, give up an extra 6th to select a safety. Like the player, I've heard there's some character concerns, though. I'm sure that's something that Aaron Glenn can work with. I don't think he would have taken someone with immense character concerns. And I'm not in the boat of you that Aaron Glenn can fix every single thing in the world, but I don't think Aaron Glenn would have selected someone if he was seriously worried about character concerns. So Moore's interesting. I've seen a lot of Brian Branch comps. That's why it makes sense on why they decided to select him. So, hey, this team needed safety help, and I don't hate Malachi Moore at all.
I love the fact that they're adding another safety to this room. I love the idea of adding Malachi Moore. Allen trusted me to catch over Arian Smith. But I love the idea of adding Malachi Moore. Obviously, we know the safety room. Some people are a little concerned. I like what we have. I like the Andre Cisco signing, but adding more bodies is always great. And one thing with Malachi Moore is I've heard that he was one of the big leaders on that defense in the transition.
Yes, he was a captain in 23 and 24.
From the transition from the Saban era to whoever the new coach was. So that's also pretty key. We know the type of players Aaron Glenn and Muji are selecting. Leaders, guys who are going to play hard every down, who are going to beat in every play, playing for their teammates, playing for the coach, locker room guys. So I'm excited, and I think we're building this the right way, which is why I'm so optimistic and so happy in coming out of this draft.
Next few picks. The next pick concerns me a little bit because they didn't need help at the linebacker position. But whenever the Jets select someone who Dom C does not know, I do get a little concerned, and that's what the Jets did in the 5th round today. They used for their first 5th round pick to select Francisco Mauigoa, he was born in Samoa, 22 years old, moved to California where he went to high school.
Nico's town.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on that guy with the crazy Nico takes. But someone last year who he's had surgery. He had surgery on both of his shoulders last year, but led Miami in tackles this past season. 2nd team All ACC honors. Again, I think this could have been allocated towards a different position. And even if they wanted to go linebacker, Kobe King and Cody Simon, 2 guys I really like, were still on the board when the Jets made this pick. So not my favorite, but can't complain about adding some beef to what I think is a very, very light position.
I agree with you 100%, and I think this pick ties into another pick we made, right? I know we were all disappointed about the corner we selected with our 3rd round pick, right? But I believe that the Jets need certain types of players to provide what they need for the type of scheme they're going to run. I believe that Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilkes have some interesting tricks up their sleeve regarding the defensive scheme for this team, and it requires players like a physical corner, which is why we felt the need to take him, and this linebacker. So that's why I'm really trusting what they're doing. Yes, I would have rather than address D tackle with this pick, but adding bodies to the linebacker room is always good.
That was my biggest thing with Malachi Moore. You trade up 15 spots. Why not get Joshua Farmer, a 316-pound one-tech from FSU? Why would you not want to trade up and get that guy instead of adding a safety when I think there were still some solid safety? Sebastian Castro from Iowa was a UDFA. I would have been all on him and then you trade up and you use that pick to get Joshua Farmer. So still a lot of interesting moves from the Jets today. But my favorite overall pick for the Jets from a value perspective was their last pick, and they traded up to get him. That was Tyler Barron, of Miami. Malachi, Barron, back-to-back picks. The Miami Hurricane, the Miami teammates, excuse me, linked back up here at the NFL level. Redshirt senior, turned 23 this month. Spent his first 4 college seasons at Tennessee. This past season, though, 5.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. Finished with 38 total tackles. Forced fumble, 4.62. 40-yard dash at the combine. Chris, you know me. I was big on getting an edge rusher in here. This is someone who's versatile, come off the edge with explosiveness, speed, great pass rusher, can help stop the run. Absolutely love this pick for the Jets.
Yeah, you mentioned stuffing the run there, which is obviously something we need. We need to improve on coming off of last year. So I like the idea of adding some edge depth. Obviously, I know you have massive concerns with our edge room. JJ coming off the injury, you think McDonald had an overrated season. I'm in the boat of they're both still young and developing, so I'm confident in both of them solidifying both spots. But adding depth is always good, and adding guys who you can work on is kind of like a project in tournament to a secret weapon coming in on subbing out for JJ or subbing for McDonald. So I like this pick.
We got some breaking news here. We're going to get in the undrafted free agents. I have no idea who this guy is. The Jets have signed Leander Wiegand, a German offensive lineman with the Munich Ravens.
Interesting.
A German player coming straight from Germany, signing with the Jets. More bodies, more competition.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's all I can say. No idea who this guy is.
Yeah, my knowledge gets shaky towards the end of the draft. Like you expect me to know some undrafted.
I don't even think this guy did he even. What's his name? Let me pop in.
Something German.
Yeah, some German dude. Let me pop in here. Oh. Did he even declare for the draft? Like, who is this guy? Oh, I have a clip we can show of Leander.
We obviously know that
he went to UCF. It looks like. All right, I don't know who this guy is. We have a clip I can pull up here on the screen.
Yeah, Glenn has some eye for talent, so I trust whoever he gets.
Shout out to my guy Justin Freed from the Jet Press.
The Jets X Factor group chat.
No, it was Justin Freed, my guy from the Jet Press.
Oh,
fan-sided. Our arch nemesis. See, this is him. At the combine this year, it was 33 bench press reps. Aaron Donald's PR is 35.
I already love this.
Look at that guy mowing through those reps. I'm not gonna bore everyone through sitting all through those 38 reps, but
picture that as a D lineman. Just
maybe we can convert him onto the other side of the ball. Who knows? All right, let's move over to the undrafted free agents. I was writing a column for Jets X Factor during the 7th round, and I was hoping none of the guys would get drafted, which did indeed happen. Luckily, however, of course, the guys I put at 1 and 2 in Nazir Stackhouse at 1, who went to the Packers, and Jalen Conyers at 2, goes to the Dolphins. Only one of those guys on my list remains, and that is an interesting one, Isaiah Bond. This is someone who's expected to be a top 100 pick until he turned himself into police for an outstanding sexual assault warrant. Excuse me, that's prompted him to go undrafted. I knew he was going to fall. I didn't expect him to go undrafted, though. So really, really interesting that he's still on the board. 21 years old. A ton of juice, known for his yak ability, known for his playmaking ability. This is someone you can line up on the inside, outside, add some versatility, add some juice to this receiver room. I get the allegations, but I mean, an undrafted free agency, this would be a pretty peculiar signing for the Jets.
Yeah, I think we need more bodies for the receiver room. Obviously, we need someone who can come in and be a true wide receiver too. And obviously, I think it's too late for that. I wish we would have went that direction with our 2nd round pick, but we can critique everything at this point. I just think they need some more juice, as you said, in the receiving room, and we need some more guys who we can develop into competent receivers, because right now it's looking pretty barren right now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, now appreciate you tuning in, though. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe. Throw all your questions in the chat. We make sure to throw all the questions in. We will get to those shortly. Now let's head over to the UDFAs. There's been so many that have happened, so let's go through the top few ones, because those are the bigger ones that are actually going to be meaningful. I gave the draft. Before we get into the UFAs, we'll sum up our draft talk. Best
All right.
value pick of the draft, Chris.
Best value pick. So
Mine's Barron. I made that clear.
yours is Barron. So best value pick for us. Obviously, it wasn't the corner because you had to trade up for him. That was an awful pick.
I didn't say worst. I said best.
Yeah, I know. I'm going through each one. I'm evaluating, bud. Gotcha. I mean, I like the Mason Taylor pick. I think that was good value. I mean,
I disagree.
He could have gone. He could have gone he could have gone earlier. So I think that's a good pick. Getting your tight end of the future. I think that's a good value pick there.
I disagree. I think this is someone who has been a mediocre a pass catcher at best. This is someone who struggled to play in line despite his ideal size. I'm not a big Mason Taylor fan. So again, mine's Barron. That's where I'm sticking. Not a big Mason Taylor. Or I would probably give last night about a D for the Jets. The way they handled last night of the draft, I'd give today a C+. I think the draft. We'll end with this. What do you grade the draft? C- for me.
C-. I think that's fair. I'd give it a B- to C+. I feel like I would have liked to see. I mean, I personally would give this lower than I want to. I'm not even being like got them green goggles, as Connor would say. I'm not even if I wanted to say it, I can give it a lower grade than I wanted because I think they should have taken Warren. That's who I wanted to see them take. I think pass catcher was your biggest need, and you should have addressed that with your best pick, so you get the best player available at that position. But again, we solidified both sides of the line with taking Membu for the next decade, so I like that. I think Mason Taylor is a good pick. I would have rather saw them take a guy like Troy Harris. We know Jack loves Troy Harris. I would have rather seen them take him. But, getting a tight end doesn't bother me. I like that they went pass catcher. I'm glad that they recognized that. Going corner, I don't like the corner pick. We should have definitely taken a receiver there, but Glenn obviously has a plan for him. Glenn saw something great in him, so in Glenn I trust. In Glenn we should trust. So overall, we came away with most positions in need. My biggest two complaints were we waited too long for a receiver and how we didn't get any D tackle help. So this B- C+ is where I'm at for this draft.
All right, yeah. So we're both pretty much in that similar territory. We appreciate you tuning in. Smash the like, hit subscribe, throw your questions in the chat for us. We'll get to those. Pin comment if you want to call into the show. We're gonna head into the UDFAs in a second, but keep the questions coming for sure. Super chats, memberships, get your raffle entries, go a long way. 40 of you watching here on YouTube, 17 likes. 17 likes. So please hit the like button. That's not mathing. Hit subscribe. It's completely free and it really does help us grow here on the program. Appreciate you guys always. Now, I gave a C- for the draft. When it comes to these UDFA signings, probably leaning an A- thus far. The Jets did a great job of approaching undrafted free agency. Got their hands dirty literally, I think, 2 minutes after the last pick came in. The Jets came in. They knew what they were doing in undrafted free agency. This is probably, I'm going to say, my favorite signing. My second one is a quarterback, but this is my favorite signing for the Jets thus far. Quinton Skinner, wide receiver from Kansas. First UDFA signing and my favorite one. 6'4", 203 pounds. Huge downfield threat. Listen to this, Chris. 22 yards per catch last season.
That'd be amazing.
For Kansas. This is a deep threat, and it's not like he's this small 5'9", 160-pound guy who is just going to line up in the slot and burn defenders. He's a big body who could go up and get contested catches and still create yak. Again, this isn't, you're not getting T. Higgins with this pick, but I think this is great value in the UDFA market. What I look for in these undrafted free agents is value.
100%. You basically summed it up there. I love the idea of adding him. Obviously, I don't know because they selected Arian Smith pretty high. You mentioned how you think it was way too high for him, how he's projected to go undrafted. So I don't really know what their plan is specifically for where Arian Smith is going to be on the depth chart. As of now, if we don't trade Lazard, I think the depth chart looks like Garrett Wilson, Lazard, and then maybe either Malachi Corley or Arian Smith. I'm not in favor of that. I think we really needed to go wide receiver too. And I think they should sign someone in free agency now, by the way, at the wide receiver. But that's something to talk about later. But yeah, I like this UDFA signing. Just add as much bodies into the receiver room as possible. And if you're a good coach, you'll develop one into at least a quality starter.
Yeah, I love this pick. Big body guy, provides versatility, provides playmaking ability. That's what this team needs. Next, another incredible signing. kind of add more competition to the Jets running back room this summer, Donovan Edwards, someone who was expected to be a first-round pick in 2022 on the cover of College Football 25 for those video game players. This someone in 2022 averaged 7 yards per carry, unheard of, 7 yards per carry for the Michigan Wolverines, provides value as a receiving threat. 2024 averaged over 4 yards per carry, kind of got into somewhat of a groove, a little under over 200 receiving yards this past season. Love adding more competition. I think anyone who can average 7 yards per carry in the Big Ten deserves a chance to earn an opportunity at the NFL level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited for this Jets rushing attack. I mean, spending another first-round pick on O-line, which should guarantee that we have at least a top 10 O-line this season. And, guys, we have such good running backs. So, listen, this makes it so easy for our OC, a first-time OC. It gives him such a safety blanket. We see that we should be having such a good run game. So much talent in the RB room, so much talent in the O-line. Like, this is going to be exciting. We have also like a good read option and a QB scramble with Justin Fields. Like, there is so much to look forward to. The Jets can be competitive this season. We have 2 defensive head coaches. We have a reliable DC and Steve Willicks. I mean, we have a good defense and a ground and pound offense. If Justin Fields can just be confident with his arm, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
We're gonna phase out some of the signings starting now because they were just after they signed Edwards, there were just a trillion that came in. Now, let's focus on the best UDFA signing, Missouri's Brady Cook. The Jets decide not to draft a quarterback in the first 7 rounds. They pick up Brady Cook in undrafted free agency. Chris, you know, and I'm sure most of you in the chat know, Brady Cook is someone I've been discussing for about 2 weeks now here on the show. Him and Seth Hannigan as guys I would love to take flyers on, whether it was the 6th round. They didn't do that. They get Cook in undrafted free agency. Another great value steal. Great build for a quarterback. 6'2", 214 pounds. Multiple years of experience as a starter. Started nearly 40 games over the past 4 seasons. Very athletic, great arm strength, poised overall as a passer. I like this from a value perspective, Chris, the way the Jets bring in Cook here. And who knows, there's a chance he impresses over the summer. He's the Jets QB too. I always like getting an extra quarterback in the room until you have the quarterback position figured out for good.
You guys do not understand how happy I am that we did not take a quarterback, specifically just Shedeur Sanders. Like, if we would have taken Shedeur, we are the same old Jets. Of course, the Jets are the joke team that actually picks up on a guy who's falling this far. Like, I just didn't want it to be us, so ultimately I got my wish. I'm happy about that. And for people who are going and bashing this draft, like, I say it could be worse. We could have taken Shedeur Sanders, but obviously we know you loved Will Howard. I think he's going to be great on the Steelers, especially learning behind A-Rod. He is destined to succeed. So mark our words on that because I know Connor loves Howard. But Brady Cook, I mean, I like the idea of adding competition. Do I think Brady Cook will ever be something? No, because if Fields works out, he's our guy. And if he doesn't, we're drafting a guy next year. So my dream scenario.
What tells you Cook isn't that guy?
Cook is your career backup, your franchise.
How do you
backup.
know that? How do you know he's not your franchise quarterback?
No one knows any of it. He could be a Tom Brady story. I mean, my dream scenario, honestly, is that we go 9-8, sneaking to the playoffs. Fields is average, so I mean, you keep him for the second year, but then you go up and you trade up and you still draft a guy like Nussmeier. So then you have Fields and Nussmeier competing in camp, and then you let Fields go in the second year, Nussmeier is ready to step in and make your franchise good for years and years to come. So I'm so excited for what is to come for the Jets.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm gonna try to pull this up. Let's see. Let me pull up. I'm trying to pull up Brady Cook's profile here on Sports Reference. I mean, those especially. Let's keep this in mind here too. I don't think enough people are discussing this. Armand Membu was Brady Cook's protector on the right side for 3 of his 5 years at Missouri. Like these are like again, this is undrafted. Like this is 5th round talent. I think. Like look at this. I mean, I'm taking a flyer on these numbers any day of the week.
Yeah, I'm as you said. I was not high on drafting a quarterback. I didn't think there was a purpose of it.
He can run too. Look, he's not a guy like
He's not a statue. Don't even say you're gonna take another shot at Rodgers. I know where you're
No,
going there.
I don't even care. I'm not even talking about Rodgers anymore. What I was gonna say is a guy like Curtis Rourke is a late round guy I liked so much in this draft class. The problem is he's can't run. Like he just stands there in the pocket.
Yeah,
So
like and Kyle McCord too. Like we all want to see
yeah.
him. Obviously, Jeff fan as a kid, but he's not running anywhere. So Brady Cook, we saw here he can run and he's solid. I mean, and Membu was his protector. So there's a lot of things like that point to the fact that he can be sneaky with us and he can possibly earn a quarterback 2 job. I mean, I like the idea of competition within this quarterback room, mainly obviously now between Cook and Tyrod for quarterback 2. Obviously, Fields is our guy going forward. But yeah, I mean, I love how we did not draft a quarterback and we still got great value in UDFA here.
For sure. I'm gonna try to pull up. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up the Badlands scouting report that Connor Rogers does. They do a great job over there. Badlands, Turn on the Jets. They put together an incredible draft guide every single year. I'm gonna try to. I don't even know where it is in my save, but I always look there for some of the scouting reports. So I'll try to pull that up in a minute. But anyways, appreciate you tuning in. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Keep the questions coming. We'll get to those. Chris and Connor here with you on Next Gen Jets. We're gonna take your calls in a little, so you can get on hold with you using the pinned comment at the top of the chat. Let's go over the question, the chat. Well, there's one thing I'll say about Muji is that I like the fact he didn't get pulled into those trades, but he's learned to let the board come to him. Thoughts, Chris?
I agree with this 100%. I like how he went about this draft, like how he went about this free agency. I think Muji and Glenn have done a pretty good job so far. Outside of getting rid of Rodgers, I think they recovered well, so to speak, from the Rodgers move and filled up most of the holes. I mean, D tackle is still a bit of a question mark. Wide receiver is still a question mark. Again, now I'm pushing for them to sign a guy like Amari Cooper. I know he's older than he's older than Muji would like, but we still need a wide receiver too, man. So I mean, their philosophy at this point has to be that their offense will be like you kind of look at Garrett Wilson if he's not there run, which I'm not happy about. If Fields is going to be the future, I want him to like.
You drafted Mason Taylor though, like you used the second. I don't like Mason Taylor at all. I'm just saying that they used a second round pick on Mason Taylor. I expect him to have some involvement, especially as a route
for sure. He's your tight end 1 without a shadow of a doubt. I mean,
yeah.
He'll probably come second or third in receiving if we don't sign another receiver like I want them to. So yeah, you're pulling up the list of quarterbacks here. I mean, Seth Hannigan, did he get signed yet?
Hannigan, Seth Hannigan. Let me check. Yes, he signed with Jacksonville. And even if he was available, I don't think they were going to take him. Does Badlands not have? I don't think they have a scouting report on
Cook.
Brady Cook, unfortunately. I'm going to try to pull it up on PFF.
Gotcha.
Because I really like, I love looking like if you can get an undrafted quarterback in free agency, even if he could do something for you, that's a massive bonus.
And what are we thinking for Jordan Travis? I'm as low on Jordan Travis as you can be. I don't like.
Jay says Travis is like a Bob Dylan movie, a completely unknown. No, and look, I think you got to treat him like a rookie, but I think he has to earn his job. People are acting like this Jets team owns everything. People acting like this Jets organization owes something to Jordan Travis.
Exactly.
Absolutely not. This guy was not healthy at all last year. He wasn't ready to compete. I'm treating him like a rookie. I think he has to earn his roster spot. That's the way I look at it.
I agree 100%. I mean, Jordan Travis, he's from Florida State. I mean, he's average. I don't like him. I didn't like how he played at Florida State. I mean,
you didn't like how? Okay, that's where I draw the line.
They were 13-0. He was a good leader. I like it from that perspective. But like, I'm not 100% sold on him as a passer. So I mean, I think we can find if Fields doesn't work out, we're getting our franchise quarterback in next year's draft. I don't know why we're worried about quarterback.
Well, you're drafting a quarterback. You don't know if he's your franchise quarterback, Chris.
Yeah, true. I mean, we don't know about anyone that's coming out of the draft. So, I mean, the only guy I'm pretty much sure on is Nico. But hey, he'll be out in 2027.
Highlights tell you that.
He's just great. Can't wait to see him play in the NFL and prove all you naysayers wrong. Nico is undeniable. Clean motion, strong ass arms. Excuse the language, but he's gonna. I'm high on him.
Holy Chris, stop with the cursing. My God. All right, here's what I got from Trevor Sycamore and Brady Cook. Cook is a tough pocket passer who has enough mobility to move the chains with his legs. Love that. He saw a slight dip in his accuracy in 2024, but also turned in a career best 1.0 turnover worthy play rate. Cook struggles the most when trying to throw through pressure and often decides to run before going through his progressions. With proper pass protection, he can be a capable backup, but there's a limited ceiling. You take away the ceiling part, I feel like I just read a scouting report on Justin Fields.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say. So if this guy got, if God forbid Justin Fields gets hurt, you don't have to modify your offensive scheme too much because this guy can come in and play that.
I like this. This is someone I'm going to be following throughout the summer. I really, really like this signing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I like it. I think it's a good signing. I like the idea of adding quarterbacks. I'm just glad I didn't do it through the draft. So if they have to do it here, they found great value. I'm happy about that. But I'm glad it was in the draft.
Jimmy says I put Connor on Howard and then Cook about 2 weeks ago. You put me onto Howard because I went back and looked at more Howard after I hadn't watched much. But no, I do not recall you ever referencing Brady Cook to me, Jimmy. Brady Cook was a homegrown discovery, if you will, when it comes to.
Don't forget I put you on.
Nah, that was a homegrown discovery, I believe, Jimmy. But yes, you did introduce me to Will Howard.
Talk about discoveries. I told you all about Nico. Just mark my words.
Highlights. Telling you, bro. I'm telling you, we can watch Brady Cook highlights, and I'm sure he'll look like the next Patrick.
No, see, highlights you can tell someone's ceiling. Highlights you can tell what their ceiling's going to be. You can tell the way they throw the ball. Obviously, I don't have access to film. Something I'll invest in. I'll invest so much time in watching every snap of every college quarterback this season. I'm obviously much more into it now than I was before getting into all of this with obviously our show, the Next Gen Network, more coming soon. And yeah, so I'm gonna invest so much more time. I love the idea. I just love football, and that's why I became such a big Jet fan. I love football, and then just my dad was watching the Jets one day. I stumbled in. I was like, "Who's this Zach Wilson kid? He can throw."
Well, you were a Panthers fan.
How wrong was I? I was never a true Panthers fan.
You literally admitted.
My head was still, that was part of my argument to defend Fireman Ed because you're rambling on about how he's a Dolphins fan. You almost hate the guy, bro.
You literally admitted on our draft show. For those who weren't there, Chris flat out admitted that he was a Panthers fan.
Bro, that was when I was like a toddler, bro. There's no way. I was a toddler. I didn't even know what I was doing yet. So when I actually started
Jimmy,
watching
he was in
football,
the chat.
When I started watching football and became just really into it.
You said you had a Panthers jersey.
No, I do not, bro.
You literally said that on the show last night.
Bro,
now you're trying to you got 52 people in the building. Now you're trying to pull everything back. I see.
Bro, that's not true. This is you. You are not having deja vu. You're not remembering it clearly. Listen, this is just. As soon as I started Panthers trivia, as soon as I started actually becoming a diehard football fan, it was all Jets, baby. Anyone who knows me knows all I care about is the Jets. Eat, sleep, and breathe the Jets 24/7, even in the off season. So just true diehard catch me in the Clinton Hall draft party. So yeah, we can confirm or deny any of this. I mean,
you admitted it yourself. You're acting like I uncovered some secretive photo of you.
I was defending Fireman Ed because obviously me and Fireman Ed, the top two most passionate Jet fans on earth. So look, we both used to have allegiance to other teams when our heads were still soft, when we were still young babies, didn't know what we were doing. It's like Johnny Ice.
The difference is Fireman Ed was a grown man.
Fireman was a grown. Listen, we can go back. We don't need to go back and forth about Fireman Ed.
And then Chris tried correcting me on all the terms of what happened. Meanwhile, he didn't even read the report, but he was trying to correct me on how old.
Obviously, the media is gonna say some dumb shit about Fireman Ed. They hate him for no reason.
How do they hate? Explain though.
The media just hates the Jets. They hate everything about us. They don't want us to have any fun. They hate the Jet champ. Probably they hate it all.
I mean, they want to create headlines. What could you say?
Yeah, but they hate the Jets, and the Jets are an easy target.
I mean, they are an easy target. When you haven't made the playoffs in 14 years, it's pretty easy to pick on your organization.
Exactly, but they're all Jet haters. So this is why they're all dead to me. Cost, no. Just you saw him trying to sneak away from camp lines. So that's an insider note that Connor gave me. In training camp, they
yo.
Sneak away.
Let's see. One more thing I wanted to get through here on one more thing I want to get to here on Cook. Just one last nugget. If you can get someone who is not going to turn the ball over in undrafted free agency, even if it's a limited ceiling, if he can run, he's an accurate passer and he can't turn the ball over, and he's a quarterback too, and you get him an undrafted free agency, that's a steal. Like, even if he makes the roster.
Yeah, that's obviously great value at that point. Just getting as much value as possible at this, and the UDFA point is what you're striving to do. You mentioned that earlier, so yeah, just as much value as possible. Just keep them coming in.
Smash the like button, hit subscribe. Chris and Connor here with you on Next Gen Jet. Throw all your questions in the chat. We'll continue to get to those. You can call in with a pinned comment. Super chats and memberships go a long way, but let's go over to the phone lines. Charles is up here on the show. Charles, how are you?
Good. I personally like this draft. I personally love the Mason Taylor pick. Sorry, Connor. I know you don't like Mason Taylor for some oddball reason.
No problem. Everyone has their own opinion.
I think he's a good player. I think he somewhat reminds me of Justin Keller, but a bit more physical. I know he needs to improve a bit on his blocking. Oh God. I'm gonna talk about it more on my channel tomorrow. I'm gonna get more elaborate details on my channel tomorrow at noon. So if you want to come into the channel, you're more than welcome to. You too, Chris.
Bet. Yeah, Charles, it was obviously nice meeting you at the Clinton Hall at Jake's party. It was nice seeing you, man.
You too. Same here, Connor. It was very
For sure.
nice to meet you too.
Definitely.
But yeah, I like this draft class. I heard the one pick I think was the weakest was the Arian Smith pick.
Yes.
But I don't dislike it as much as other Jet fans do. But I am a little bit more excited though with this upcoming season, considering what our first two picks. My first two picks are probably the ones that I like the most. Yeah, I'm really excited for this season because of this draft. And I like that Darren Muji stuck with his board and let the board come to him rather than doing stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't like Taylor because he hasn't thrived as a receiver to the extent where I'd be comfortable taking him in the second round. He's just a pure pass catcher, and he struggled as a blocker to play in line despite his ideal size. That's where I am on Taylor.
I'll say to you on that. You obviously know. You probably know what I'm about to say.
The tight end.
Our tight end coach used to be an O-line coach, baby.
Okay, Chris, you keep mentioning this. I will give you $20 if you can tell me the tight end coach's name right now, because you've been referencing him a lot, and I was going to turn people around. So if you're going to talk about him turning tight ends into stout blockers, it would be great. It would be great if you can let me know his name.
I see you know this about me. I never lie. Couldn't tell you the guy's name, but the fact that he was a tight end coach just makes it
so
obvious, man.
You mean the tight end coach is the tight end coach was an O-line coach.
The fact that he used to be an O-line coach.
Okay, perfect. So you would feel that. How do you know he's not Keith Carter?
I don't know he's not Keith Carter because Keith Carter is one of a kind. He is one of a kind, all the way at the bottom of everything, bro. He's like one of the most hated Jet people associated with the Jets of all time, right next to a couple guys that are controversial in my eyes, like Becton and someone else I mentioned last night. Not trying to get any more hate tonight, but Joe Namath is questionable. Yeah. Sold his soul to be the only living Jet quarterback to win the Super Bowl. That's why we're cursed, but hey, it's all we can do. We can just hope no one ever is that bad on Keith Carter level ever again.
You just gotta hope. Man. Appreciate you all. Keep the questions coming. Pin comment. Let's keep it going with your calls. DTN is up next here on the show. DTN, how are you?
Doing good. I'm glad the draft is over because my goodness, I was like, we could all say that us NFL fans, we were like stressing about like, oh, when the pick is coming up next is like trades and a lot of stuff. So I'm thank goodness it's over. But I gotta say, I'm not gonna be biased, but I thought the Jets draft, I thought it was okay. To be honest, when I saw day threes of like wide receivers, I did not like the Smith pick, to be honest, because he's more like a wide receiver 3 or 4-ish. Because when I saw his stats, he only had that one good season, and when I saw the other seasons, he had like 100, I don't know, like 90. So like I thought you guys could have got like Jalen Royals because he could at least be like your wide receiver too to fill that hole.
Agree.
And yeah, I know because if you had that wide receiver, because it would take the stress away from Garrett Wilson, because I know he's like your wide receiver 1, and you don't have to worry about like whatever you had in your wide receiver core to like fill that wide receiver 2 hole. So that's my thoughts. But then defense, I like the fact that how you actually filled some of the holes, like the Malachi Moore. I know that you need some safety help because I know, Connor, you alluded to like you at least needed some safety help. So I like the Malachi Moore pick.
Thoughts on how your Patriots handled the draft?
I gotta say, Elliott Wolf, Ryan Cowden, and Mike Vrabel hit it. They hit the draft like. I did not see it coming. It was like 10 times better than last year's draft, like with the exception of Drake May. But the fact that you double up on left tackle, which thank goodness we
Who was the other tackle they got?
So it was
Campbell and who else?
Campbell and Marcus Bryant out of Missouri.
Too bad none of it's gonna matter because Drake May's a bust.
Yeah, what are we gonna say about Justin Fields? He's more of a runner, so I'm not gonna crap about it. But then again, at least I love the Jarrett Wilson.
I have the Patriots winning 9 games.
Yeah, Connor's a bit borderline a Patriots fan. You guys can come at me for being a Panthers fan all you want. Connor's a Patriots fan.
I'm just illogical.
That's not even logical. That's not even logical.
How?
They overpaid for a bunch of free agents like this.
It doesn't matter. They still have them on the roster.
No, it doesn't.
Well, how does overpaying even matter? Like, if you think about it, we complain about again. A lot of people complain about overpaying for free agents. You get them in the building. That's all That's all that matters. The Jets overpaid for Justin Fields. I'm not complaining because I wanted Justin Fields. The Jets overpaid mightily for
this year's
Justin
free
Fields.
agency for the Jets was similar to what we did for the Patriots, because some of the free agents we signed last year, they didn't even want to come to New England because like there was so much uncertainty about like what the coaching staff is going to look like. So that's what. So the fact
I get that, Alan. If Glenn is a good coach, the Jets will win more games than the Patriots. I think that's crazy to say as a Jet fan, Paul.
I think they're splitting like they've done every single year.
Like we shall see. We don't know what the season's going to look like. We need to find out what the schedule is going to look like on May 14th, and then we will decide from there. But yeah, to be honest, I love
May 14th is the date.
Yeah, May 14th is when the schedule is released. But to be honest, with the Patriots draft, like towards the end, I did not like us getting a long snapper and then getting a cornerback as Mr. Irrelevant, because I thought we could have get like a left guard and maybe like a developmental tight end, because we know our tight ends are like in the 30s. So I would have been more happy if we got left guard and tight end.
All right, I get that. DTN, we appreciate the call. You got any final thoughts?
I gotta say, hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I know that it was a stressful weekend, so yeah.
Yes, sir. We appreciate that, DTN, our Patriots fan, checking in here on the show. Shout out to our guy, DTN. We appreciate you guys, Zoe, so keep the questions, comments coming. We get to those, pin comment to call in. Super Chats, memberships go a long way to helping us grow here on the program. An interesting comment, Chris Brother. The more you think negative about the Jets, the less pay. This just makes no sense to me.
No, this actually makes sense because a common quote is, set your expectations low and you'll never be disappointed.
You can't set your expectations too low with the Jets. You set them low, they'll go even lower.
I'm such a passionate Jet fan. It pains me to set my expectations low. So
Chris, there's a difference between being passionate and insanely optimistic.
I don't even consider myself insanely optimistic. That's not even crazy. Like during the season, when we do like reaction to games, you're gonna understand how pessimistic I can get after a shitty loss. Like you haven't seen me, bro. And like I can't wait to actually do this during this season. It's gonna be so much fun because I think we're gonna be pretty good. And that's not even optimistic. Like if Glenn is a good coach, we're gonna be good. Like there was a comment that asked what the record is. That we should pull that up and debate the record.
Yes,
and we know Jack's gonna say the ceiling is 7 and 10, which is the most crazy thing I've ever seen.
And you think I'm pessimistic?
Yeah, exactly. And we can just ignore that because we all know Jack.
There's a difference between being passionate, optimistic, and logical.
Oh my god!
There's
I
a
see it
massive
coming from
difference.
Allen. You would trade 75% of the roster for Drake May. No, we can get Nussmeier. Like, it feels as bad. We can get Nussmeier next year, bro. I'm not trading anything for someone who we don't even know about yet.
We don't know
Who's
anything about Nussmeier. Whoa.
I'd rather have Nussmeier than Drake May.
You haven't even you've watched Nussmeier highlights.
I still know, bro. I still know.
You still know from the highlights.
I've read scouting reports on him. Like, you act like I do not do my homework. I do
You
my
complain
homework.
about Mel Kiper, but you use his scouting reports. That's hilarious.
No, I use someone else's site, and that was on War. And I use like websites and stuff. I read up on
What website do you use?
multiple different websites so I can gauge multiple different opinions and see what they share in common.
I was looking at the 2026 board today. Trevor Sikkema has Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State, as his #1 player.
I haven't did look that much into it. I've mainly looked at the quarterbacks. But I've seen like some tackles from Miami and Alabama towards the top of that list.
Nico's 90 on Sikkema's big board.
I immediately lose all trust for that bum after hearing that. But who's stopping the run? To answer Alan's question, we're gonna have to address that. As of now, it's Derek Nottie and Quinton Williams. You're gonna have to trust, and we're gonna have to trust that both of our edges, Jermaine is coming back healthy, and that McDonald is gonna develop a lot as a run stopper. So yes, that there's a lot of question marks at that. I think we need to sign another wide receiver and D tackle in post draft free agency. That's where we're at right now. Oh my god. I know this is an opinion that Alan agrees with too. I mean I don't get the point of trading franchise players.
It depends how he plays.
It's too much talent, man. I don't get it.
Let's be real. It depends how he plays. Like I don't want to trade Quinton. I mean,
don't. If you say his production hasn't been great, because we've had no one else on the line to take away attention from him next year.
No, the Jets aren't going to have anyone this year to take attention away from him.
Then they're just going to like double and triple him, bro. It's just dumb.
What did he have? 7 sacks last year, 6 and 23, 25 solo tackles.
How many tackles for loss?
PFN. Quinton Williams tackles for loss. Shoot. 8. He had 11 and 23. Yeah, like pretty much a career low besides his rookie season of 8.
Remember the year he had a pick?
That was 23, actually, I think.
Yeah, that was versus Eagles. That game was so fun. I was actually coming home from a football game. Then I turned on like the third quarter, and it's actually still a competitive game. Zach threat, dime to Garrett Wilson, back shoulder.
Yeah, that was a good game. That's when they were good for like 2 weeks.
I just miss, like, I just love the Jets so much, and like how they do this affects like my entire week. So we have to hope they're good, please.
I don't even have expectations this year. I'm just going it, and it's like
this year is supposed to be stress free, which is exactly why I didn't want them to take a quarterback. Like if they took a guy in the first round, especially, it would put all the pressure on. Like, oh yeah, this has to be your guy now. Like this year, it's relaxed. It doesn't matter if we're good or bad. If you really think about it, I'm evaluating Aaron Glenn as a coach this year. I'm evaluating some of our young talent that people are so anxious to trade away. I hope this year that with good coaching, they're going to prove how good we really are and how much talent we really have, and how we can go 9-8 and can make the playoffs and prove that Glenn and Muji are competent and are going to be here for a long time and give us some success moving forward.
Yeah. Give me 2022, honestly. Like, you win 7 games and you're fun, so be it. The last season destroyed me. So I put no blind faith into anyone who's a part of this organization at this point. Like, show me. Show me you can win.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt for now. I want to see how Glenn is when that season actually starts. That's going to be huge. Because if Glenn is not a good coach, if we go 4-13 this year, like I'm out on Aaron Glenn. I'm out. That's not even me being too. That's not even me. No. Wait.
There has to be a circumstance. It depends on the circumstance. That's not even me being
too emotional. Because like there's talent on this team. If he is a good coach, he will have us moving and winning some games and being competitive in most games.
Yeah, it depends on. I don't even know. If they win 4 games, I think that's like around the floor. I think 3-4 games is the floor.
Yeah, so I mean, the ceiling is, Chris, how would you trade if you feel if Fields ever went to the Pats? If he's bad, like I wouldn't care. What is he talking about?
Chris reminding me of Jey Uso.
I don't even know who that is.
He does a great activity called wrestling.
Oh, yeah, not a sport.
He participates in a great activity that goes by the name wrestling. Not a sport.
Connor describes wrestling as men hugging other men. I mean, I like wrestling as like a college sport, NCAA. But after that, there's no league.
You
so it's
like
hard for me
it?
to-
Okay, Chris. Name me
No,
one
no,
college.
no, I don't.
wrestler
I don't
who's
like.
ever
I don't
wrestled.
like. I like calling it a sport. This is my chapstick. But I like it as a college sport. I don't like wrestling. I mean, I like calling it a college sport. Like because after college, there's no actual league for it.
Wrestling's an activity. There again, there has to be direct competition and a professional league.
That's why wrestling is a college sport for me. That's why I think
It's a sport or it's not. It's not a sport. Alan comes in, says Derek Nandi is not a starting one tech. Agreed. He was arguably the worst defensive tackle in all of football last year. You know that, Chris? Like
Did
literally.
not know that.
Arguably the worst defensive tackle in all of football last year. You need to add a defensive tackle.
Add a defensive tackle and add a receiver. I'll preach that until the season starts.
Yeah, definitely. We got 2 ones. Trade Quinton for a second.
Hell no! If we're gonna get him, if we're gonna trade Quinton, it better be for an absolute haul of first round picks.
No. If you get a first round pick, that's great value.
This is a diabolical comment. If we trade Quinton for a second, I'll be furious.
I think it has to be a first round pick. I think a first round pick would be fair value. Grasso, who's better, Lawrence or Quinton?
Lawrence, I'd say Lawrence
Dexter.
is better. Yeah, I'd say Quinton is a top 3 defensive tackle though. It goes Chris Jones and Dexter Lawrence, whatever order you want to put those two, and then Quinton.
That's tough.
Who else are you putting over Quinton?
When it comes to defensive tackles or just defensive linemen?
Defensive tackles.
Dexter for sure.
Dexter, Chris Jones, and then Quinton Williams. Like that's a valid list.
Cam Hayward, maybe. DeForest Buckner,
He's an old
maybe.
head.
He's still an All-Pro every year.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. So if you had to pick right now, 1 year only, who would you take at the peak of? Who would you take today? Cam Hayward or Quinton Williams? You're gonna say Quinton Williams without a doubt. Cam Hayward without a doubt.
no, bro, why not Quinton? We haven't because the Steelers have such a good O line. Like Cameron Hayward. If you put Quinton on the Steelers O line, oh my god,
D-line?
Yeah, D line. If you put Quinton on the Steelers D line, he is going off. He's going off. He's having crazy years. So I'm taking.
He hasn't though. It's always the ifs, Chris. That's the thing. It's always the ifs with you.
The Jets have had such bad scenarios in everything, man. Like I want to evaluate with actually competent regime. So let's just hope this regime is competent and everything will solve itself from there. Win games and everything will solve itself from there.
Connor Long has realistic expectations. In other words, let's not suck too bad.
I think that's too pessimistic. You guys are.
We all have Jets fatigue until we see progress. 1,000%.
Yeah, I'm just giving this regime the benefit of the doubt.
I smelled the stench of a 4-win season. Yeah.
Jake Asman quote right there. I mean, I don't buy it. It better not be.
Joe D needs to come back.
Matthew Smith, great guy in person. Troll in the chat.
Definitely, for sure. Why didn't we get Cam Ward?
Oh God, here we go.
Franklin Fung, wide receiver room, is getting overrated. Look at the plan. I can't talk. Distribution.
I got you. Wide receiver room getting overrated. Look at the
etc. You will see the plan that wide receiver 2 will not get much targets.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, if Justin Fields is going to be our franchise quarterback, I want him to develop into the guy who can go through progressions and is a multiple read quarterback and not just run after the first read. So I think we need to have competent other wide receivers in order to have that plan come into fruition.
Needed 2 tight ends from J Max. Agreed, 1,000%. And they missed on Conyers in undrafted free agency.
I mean. Listen, they have a plan. I mean, getting 2 tight ends is useful, but we need more tight end depth. I agree we should sign more on 10 UDFAs and maybe even a post draft free agency signing. But that's where I'm at with that. I agree.
Chris B, what are your thoughts on possibly signing our NY Jets signing UDFA Jared Ivey edge? Ivey's interesting from Ole Miss. I like Ivey as a player. I can't complain about adding edge depth, but I'd rather allocate that signing towards another pass catcher or a legit big one tech.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know much about the player in itself. I like the idea of getting, more bodies in the edge room because I don't want Michael Clemens to ever have to step foot on the field again. So we want to prevent that from happening. And God forbid, Jermaine has problems coming back. We need people who are ready to step up, next man up. We need guys who can come and fill that void. And because if Jermaine doesn't come back, let's play out the worst case scenario here. If Jermaine, God forbid, a re-injury occurs or he is not himself, and McDonald still needs more work in run blocking and run
Run
stuff.
defending.
Yeah, run defending. We're gonna need guys who can step in. So I don't think that the worst case scenario, the worst extreme will happen. But God forbid, we need to hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So we still need more edges on this team, in my opinion.
Rich, Connor, what's your take on AG and the staff around him? And is it possible for the new staff to possibly worse than the last? I'm an idiot optimist.
Oh God.
Chris, we'll get your thoughts here in a second. I like the staff. I think the offensive staff could use a senior mind. I give the staff about a B minus. I don't think it could be much worse. I think the bar is so low from last step. I call the staff a B or a B minus.
Rich, me and you are optimists. I don't think the idiot was necessary. Don't let people bully you out of the optimism. I'm a proud.
You literally said earlier you're not even optimistic.
Am I even that? Am I even optimistic as optimistic as you described me? I would consider myself optimistic in the off season, but then when the regular season rolls around, if we start losing, I get pissed off quickly. But
so just every year, so just like a pattern.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You need to let go of the same old Jets, the same old Jets.
Show me.
It's a new regime, though.
Okay, perfect. So show me. I'm giving them an opportunity.
Okay, good.
Show me.
I don't think, Rich. I don't think it's possible for this coaching staff to be even close to as bad as last year. That was an all-time low. I love how Aaron Glenn has went about himself already. This gives me so much confidence in Glenn. If Glenn is not a good coach, I know nothing. I know nothing because the way Glenn has gone about everything, it's just he's done everything right.
McCown.
Get out. You know how I feel about that. But Glenn's personality is perfect.
I know you don't like young, innovative offensive minds.
All right, I'm not even
the best offenses in the league.
Glenn's personality fits like this with what the New York Jets need as head coach. So I'm extremely excited to see what he can do, especially for a team who desperately needs it.
Grasso, Pats versus Jets, parentheses, more wins. Pats get more. You wear a Drake May shirt. Jets win more.
So what do you do if the Jets win more?
You name it.
I name it. Okay, I know there's already a video around of you doing the Jet chant in Aaron Rodgers jersey. So I mean I don't really know what. I mean I guess you could just do the Jet chant again. Send a new video.
Okay, perfect. If the Pats get more wins, you have to wear a Drake May shirt on the show.
Okay, fine, but I'm willing to do that. I'm very confident that will not happen. So Alan, you have a deal.
Rich says, who's our kicker? Got one yet? No. I think they should just bring in a bunch of guys. Give me 6 guys, literally. Give me 3 UDFAs, give me 3 free agents, and have them just fight it out throughout the summer.
I agree. Sign some more kickers. Obviously, we didn't want them to draft one. I was neutral if they used the last pick on a kicker.
Oh, I know. They had so much. Chris, the way they took the cornerback set back the entire draft.
Yeah, that is true.
They couldn't have taken a kicker, especially after they traded up twice.
Yeah, but watching Mel Kiper's best available, a kicker was actually in the top 10.
I thought you hated Kiper, though. You don't like Mel Kiper.
No, I was about to say you love Mel Kiper so much. You trust him. Hey, there's a
Mel
kicker
Kiper's incredible.
In his top 10. So so we need to add more kickers. Obviously, last year was not good enough. Not even close to being good enough.
Jay, with the draft in the can, what are your win-loss prediction? 7-10, 8-9.
All right, that would be fine. I would not be happy with that. Like some Jet fans would be happy with that. I think that's a loser mentality. I would not be happy with that, but it's all right. I would still Glenn would get a pass for me if that was the record. My record prediction as of now is either. But let me try to take my optimistic glasses, gangrene goggles off. My prediction. It's probably I actually agree with Cotter verbatim here. 8-9. 8-9 has to be it. And if I'm getting what I would wish for, it's 9-8 or 10-7. But I don't think that's too far out of the realm if Glenn is a good coach.
The Jets got a kicker. Shout out to Sharon for letting us know when I clarified it. Yes, thank you. You come in with 6-month membership, Joe. Thank you so much. Caden Davis from Ole Miss, the new kicker. Let me pull up his numbers. I had no idea they even got a kicker in the building. This is great. Nice. And you didn't have to use a draft pick on him too.
Nice.
Hey, there we go. Oh no, not Gabriel Davis, not Gabe Davis from the Bills. Caden, there we go. All right, Texas A&M and Ole Miss. Extra points 98%, field goal 76.8 with a long of. Oh wait, no, where's the long?
56. Is that the long?
Nah, I'm trying to find the.
Yeah, I can barely see that. You gotta zoom in.
Oh yeah, let me. And then of course there's a freaking ad blocking that. Where does it even?
Paul, 8 and 9 was my actual prediction. Taking my optimism glasses off. I know that's a losing record. The losing mentality is settling, saying, "Oh, I'd be happy with 8 and 9." I would not be happy with that.
Is Rucker really a tight end too? He's not rosterable. He's not even a rosterable.
No, Rucker's not really tight end too. But yeah, I would say I would not be happy with 8 and 9, but Glenn gets a pass. Like I wouldn't be off on Glenn like I would if we went something like 4 and 13 or whatever. Then like Glenn is dead.
All right, let me. The long last year was 57.
Okay.
His career long is 57.
All right, gotta get him squatting so he can get a stronger leg.
Okay, interesting. 24 of 29 this past year. 6 of 6 from 20 to 29 yards. 8 of 10 from 30 to 39. 8 of 9 from 48 to from 40 to 49. 2 of 4 from 50 plus. Don't like that. These 2 of 4 of these. I don't like his distance from 50 plus.
Yeah, we need more guys.
Nick Folk. Without a doubt.
Get it, baby.
Brandon, I would take Smith over Dyke, who went earlier. Thornton also dropped, as you saw that one round for. That was cost for the day. Top 3 talent with elite. Royals was the clear cut option.
I mean, I trust Glenn. Like he saw something in.
Why
Arian
do you
Smith.
Trust him though?
Why do I trust him?
What has he shown you?
The way they have went about free agency gives me confidence. I like
signing a bunch of unproven guys who haven't done anything at the NFL level.
Not even so much that. The fact that they're banking on. Excuse me. They're turning on the tape for these players and seeing if they have qualities that they can coach up and turn them, and looking for their traits that they can turn into solid to above average starters in this league. And not even so much that, I just love how they're not going out and overpaying on a bunch of washed free agents like this past regime done. They are building this the right way. Jets fans are getting mad at that because the past few years have made them forget how to actually properly build a team. Aaron Glenn is looking at guys who are leaders, who are never going to give up on the team, who are going to play hard every single snap, play for their teammates, fight for their teammates, fight for the coach, all of that. And like Glenn knows what an ideal player is, and we're just building this the right way. I'm speechless. I love it, baby.
You're speechless. Got it. Jack says, "Chris, would you drool over?"
What is this comment? I read this before. As Jack would say, I had a stroke reading this. I have no idea what this is. Like, when you drool over, bro. I don't get it. I don't get it, Jack.
Sean, trade for Olave. I would have traded.
My God. A dream. Trade for JMO is an absolute dream.
But now they picked up his option, and the Jets didn't even make it. I would have, personally, I would have traded 42 and 145 for JMO without a doubt.
I agree easily, 100%.
Yeah, like a second and a fourth for JMO.
If they would have taken that, I would have been hyped for that deal.
I would have even been open to 42 and 73.
Yes, because
if you could do 42, 73, and then you get like a conditional 6th or 7th.
Exactly, because our biggest need was wide receiver 2 going into this draft, and we would have had to address tight end in round 1 in that scenario. Because I would not feel comfortable waiting that long for tight end when you have such a massive hole and no rosterable tight ends at this point. So in that scenario, it would have to be Warren. You trade your 2nd and 3rd for JMO. Perfect. You have your top 2 needs at pass catcher filled, and then you take tackle as soon as possible, D tackle as soon as possible, and yeah.
Appreciate you all tuning in. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Over an hour into the show here, Next Gen Jets with Chris and Connor. We got some, like I said, we've been talking about it. It's coming on Monday. Super, super exciting plans coming for this show and this network. So please, please, please stay tuned. Make sure you guys always smash the like, hit subscribe. Last chance to get your final thoughts in here before we wrap. Chris, another episode in the books. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great about this draft. You've you've said Glenn is like Jesus to me. Not that far. I think Glenn. I don't think Glenn can fix everything, but I think if he's a good coach, we're gonna know and we're gonna be reaping the benefits of it. All our players will be doing well. The morale will be so high. If we can make this a fun season, this will do wonders for our fan base, for the team morale. Like, we have so much talent. Like, this O-line is so good. Our running back room is so good. We have guys on defense scattered throughout.
The
So
second
much
part.
talent. We have so much talent. We have like talent on offense too. Like, if Fields is all right, I mean, my dream scenario is Fields plays pretty good and he shows signs that he is improving. And you get his option, you trade up and you still get Nussmeier. Then you have them compete, and that would be great. And then you let Fields go after, and you start Nussmeier. Like, that's a dream come true.
Highlights speak. That's
and we can. I've read so much on him, so you can't not only highlights. That's like kind of the best I can do. So keep on mentioning that, but you keep on building your.
You keep saying you don't have access to film. I've sent you the link 3 times. It's $3 a month, and your excuse is you don't have access.
But
these asinine
$3 a month doesn't even get you access to the quarterbacks. We have said.
It does.
Yes. So I'll look into that. Obviously, time is money. I'll watch every game tape, every game of all these quarterbacks, Garrett, Nico, all the above. But as long as we continue building this the right way, like Glenn and Muji are doing now for the next couple of years, whoever our quarterback is will be put in a position to succeed. So those are my thoughts.
Let's end it with a caller. Guy Indy Jets wraps us up here on the show. Indy, how are you doing?
Hey guys, I just wanted to say, Alan and I now have a side bet. I'm with you, Chris, and Connor Connor and Alan are over here with the Patriots, and Chris and you and I are over here.
I'm not agreeing.
Amen.
And so the bet is we bet $100, and so the loser has to pay the show a super chat of $100 at the end of the season.
Hey, we win either way.
Either way, you guys win.
Man,
so that's
I appreciate that.
I think the Jets and the Patriots are going to slip on.
Listen, Indy. If the Patriots have a better record than the Jets, I am not winning inside. I'm going to be depressed. That is a nightmare scenario for us.
Yeah, and it's okay. It's okay. But if the Jets are winning, and I have to watch, and I get to see Alan drop $100 on the show, that's like a dual win for me. So I'm, but I just wanted to point that out. Really didn't need to talk about the draft. We all love, we love some draft, some of the picks. Some of them we scratch our heads and go, okay, but that's every year. At least it's not the whole draft. I mean, we can at least agree to that. But hey, keep up the good work, guys. Just wanted to tell you, hey, Alan and I are going to pick up the bet, and so it's going to be, I'm thinking maybe if the Jets win, Chris, this bet, Connor should probably get his first tattoo.
yes, tattoo the Jet logo on your forehead, baby.
Oh no, I wouldn't go that far, but I would say you get to pick it, whatever it is, or you get
The Jets are splitting with the Patriots.
I usually say split or sweep. If we get swept by the Patriots, that's
I don't think they're getting swept by the Patriots. I think they'll win at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think we're going to get swept by anybody in the division this year.
Maybe the Bills. Like, you got to win at home against the Bills.
I think we're going to split with all. We'll end up with 3-3 in the division. Possibly 4-2. Who knows? But I don't think it'll be any less than 3-3. But anyway, guys, keep up the great work.
Appreciate you, Indy.
Thank you so much, man.
Yep, we'll talk to you guys later.
The great Indy Jets closes it out here on the show. Indy, we appreciate you as always. And at the buzzer, Jimmy Jets wants 5 more raffle entries. He comes in with 5 gifted memberships. Jimmy, thank you so much for all of your support here on the show. And Aaron Glenn has a special message.
Here's what I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Jimmy Jets is such a huge part of the show, trolling obviously mainly Jack and then me and Cotter throw it in there. So it's Jimmy Jets always brings us a comment to laugh about.
Jimmy, you're the best. Appreciate you. So it's 5 names to read. Truman Dumel. Oh God, I always struggle with this one. The P-word assassin. Darren McCollum, Rob from Pointy Head, Chris B, M. Valette. You are all members. Appreciate all of your support. As always, here on the program, you are the best, Jimmy. And Jimmy follows that up and says, where is it? Shoot. There you go, Chris. Go buy the premium package. Yeah, no more excuses.
Jimmy Jets, much love, brother.
Yeah, now no, you can use no more excuses about
Send that directly to the Chris G Film Fund.
Anyways,
I can be even more confident in Nico Iamaliva. Baby, let's go.
Nico, I'm a loser. All right, we appreciate you guys as always. Smash the like, hit subscribe. We're gonna wrap things up here on the show. That'll do it for us. He is Chris Grasso, and I'm Connor Long, and we're signing off here on Next Gen Jets. Let's play some outro music.
Well, unmute your mic.
You hear me?
Yup. Whoa, Jets! T-T-S! Jets!
Let's go. Peace out, everyone. Have a great night. He's Chris Grasso. I'm your host, Connor Long. Saying so long. Here on Next Gen Jets. See you tomorrow. Oh, God. I actually have to talk to you about tomorrow's show, Chris, because there might have to be a time change. Thank you, Brain, for reminding me. But we'll be back tomorrow on the show no matter what. He's Chris. I'm your host, Connor Long, and we're saying have a great night here on Next Gen Jets. Peace out and go Jets.